Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Y'all ever heard that song? One of the assemblies that we party with on Shabbat does that. Right. They get into it though. They do the clapping and the dancing and the... I'm kind of like, this is all I got. That's about the extent of my dancing. It's doing the stormy things outside, and that is not political intrigue. Doing the stormy things, although it could be, and I guess it has been. It's doing the stormy things outside, so we're doing the Exodus things in here today, in the bunker. And I just moments before was under the impression that there was an apparition in here. That wasn't the case. It's just steam rising off of my coffee. So thank you, Father, for coffee. And but it's cold enough for the steam to look like ghosts. Oh yes, the holy water. So we're in Exodus this morning, and we find ourselves in the portion of Exodus where it's almost like the begats, meaning that we have a whole bunch of instruction from the Father to Moshe about what this temple is supposed to look like. And so last week when we were in Florida in St. Andrew's Church of God, what was left of it, we were talking about, where's the temple now? That's pretty much the the argument when people are like, well, you don't have to keep the law. There's not even, how do you even do the law? There's not a temple. Temple right here. Okay? So there is a temple. And it houses this thing, the part of us that is fearfully and wonderfully created in the image of our Creator, of the Most High, that's just yearning to get back home again. And Yeshua tells us nobody comes to the Father but through me. And so if we're going to take care of this thing, right, so that we can be good stewards of this thing, so that we can get back to the Father, we have instruction that we can take from this portion of Exodus, even if it is kind of like reading a materials list for a construction project, because it's kind of what it is. It's almost precisely what it is, which I find interesting because I'm in the process of developing the materials list for Mr. Dennis. And to that end, we don't do a lot of what I'm about to do here. In fact, I think this might be the first time I've ever done it on camera, but your continued prayers for our operations in Florida are deeply appreciated. I am blown away by the number of people who have reached out to me just in the last week or so. Over 100 people saying, I want to come help, I want to come help, I want to come help. The Reverend Gilbert calls these praise reports. Our operation was going to be the last weekend that they were operational with strike teams in Florida, meaning going out into the community and serving. And night runners, who's the Reverend Gilbert, they were going to transition into resupply, meaning they were going to stock up other NGOs, non-government organizations that are serving in the area, because they just didn't have the manpower. Well, because of y'all, because of him, the Reverend reached out to me and he said, hey, I'm going to have to talk with the pastor from St. Andrew's because we're going to need it through the end of the year just to house all the people who are signing up. That's awesome. So he went from shutting down strike teams because he didn't have enough people to, I need 9.5 months more of housing. So that's incredible. That's awesome. And to that end, GoFundMe.com/GilbertsOpFund, GilbertsOpFund, Gilbert's Op Fund, will help fund the ongoing operational costs for night runners and the Reverend Gilbert, who is the hands and feet down there. And then we're building Mr. Dennis a home. because the Father just screamed it in my ear, hey, you're going to make this man a home again. He needs it. And so, and it's not me. the dozens, if not hundreds of people that are coming out of the woodwork saying, T, I want to help. T, I want to help. How can I help? I want to help. The Father has convicted me to help. It's not me. It's the Father. So, GoFundMe.com/Welcome Home Mr. Dennis. Welcome home Mr. Dennis. DENNIS. MISTER. Mr. Dennis. So, and I'm just going to put this out there because that's the way the Father works. I need a diesel mechanic in southeastern Oklahoma to get a Ford 7.3 mechanical running again. There's water in the lines and the gas tank. So if you know anybody who can donate their time, there's a truck there that we need to press into service for our operations in Florida. We are going back to Florida again the end of March. So if you want to be involved in that, ntxmag@gmail, November Tango X-Ray Mike Alpha Golf gmail.com. Put in the subject line hands and feet and hit me up. We're doing it, and we're doing it not because I'm me, but we're doing it because the Father is the Father. He is the Alpha and Omega, and all things originate with him and end with him anyway. We are all just stewards of this for a time. It all belongs to him, right? Including this. It all belongs to him. There ain't one of us that's getting out of this thing alive. Might as well be our best for him daily, right? And so to that end, let's crack our Bibles open. If we could get the worship team to just tone it down. That's too much bass today. You're insane, man. You're not allowed to have that much coffee when you get on stage. Okay? Take it down a notch. I like the A minor arpeggio. That was pretty sweet, but everything else was just slap bass in the church. Really? Really? All right. So we finished up at 2:6, Exodus 2:6 last week, and now we're at Exodus 2:7. And so again, remember, we're picking up right in the middle of the materials list here of what the Father is telling Moshe. Go back and tell the Israelites, right? The people, the sons of Jacob and his descendants. Jacob becomes Israel, and then the 12 tribes and the 70 and so forth and so on. And now they find themselves out here in the wilderness. And they're kind of, they're getting ready to do some things like build this tabernacle so that the Father can meet with them and dwell in their midst. They are building this temple so that the Father can meet with them and dwell within their midst. Okay? And so we're going to read this on two levels. We're going to read this on one is the tactical practical. If we ever have to do this again, we know what to do and how to do it. And the other is the allegorical, the metaphorical in here. Okay? Our temple. And some people take that and run with it, man. The body is the temple. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm still not eating juiced kale. I'm not doing it. You can't. There is not enough manpower on earth to make me drink a glass of juiced kale. I'm not doing it. And I see you out there, Kimmy. I'm not doing it. Take that. All right. And you shall make a slaughter place of acacia wood, 5 cubits long, 5 cubits wide. Everybody remember how long a cubit is? It's nominally 18 inches-ish. Some people say 19.2 inches. It's from the inside of your elbow to the end of your knife hand. From here to here. Yeah, and I'm wearing my old Carhartt today. Because it was the nearest thing to the door when I walked out the door, so that's what I grabbed. It's nominally 1.5-ish. So this slaughter place here, 5 cubits, is about 7.5 foot long, square. It's about a 7.5 foot square. And it says 5 cubits long, 5 cubits wide. The slaughter place is square, and its height 3 cubits, about 4.5 foot off the ground. So that's about here-ish. That's a pretty good size platform. Okay, So think about 2 sheets of plywood laid next to each other, 4.5 foot off the ground. This is a pretty good slaughter place. And it's beginning to rain again. And you shall make its horns on the 4 corners, and its horns are the same, and you shall overlay it with bronze. So it's got 4 horns sticking up on the corners. And you shall make its pots to receive its ashes, and its shovels, and its basins, and its forks, and its fire holders. Make all of its utensils of bronze. And you shall make a grafting for it, a bronze network, and shall make on the network 4 bronze rings at its 4 corners, and shall put it under the rim of the slaughter place beneath, so that the network is halfway up the slaughter place. And you shall make poles for the slaughter place, poles of acacia wood, and shall overlay them with bronze. And the poles shall be put in the rings, and the poles shall be on the 2 sides of the slaughter place for lifting it. So I don't have anything over here other than a jar of peanut butter. But imagine you had a pole on this side and a pole on this side going through rings, right? And the rings are so you can lift this thing. Imagine this is a holy slaughter place, not a jar of peanut butter. Thank you, Brother Cody from Sojourn Gear, by the way. So that's the whole idea with the poles. If they had to, they could lift this thing up and port it from one place to another. Make it hollow with boards, as it was shown to you on the mountain. So they are to make it. And you shall make the courtyard. Pause. New thought. Okay. So make it hollow with boards. This isn't a solid slaughter place, but it's boards that they set up and tear back down again. So that, that'd be a lot of weight. What would that be? We just said it was 8 by 8. It's not. It's 7 by 7, 7.5 by 7.5. But it's 8 by 8. It'd be 64 square feet, 4 foot tall. It would be 256 cubic feet. Well, just out of rock, that'd be 10 tons. So being able to actually lift it, right, it would need to be hollow, which is why the Father's saying, hey man, save your back. We don't have any Advil. Make it hollow so you can move this thing, right? So there'll be some setup tear down. Hey guys, it's time to do the offering thing. Make sure the altar's set up. All right, we're going, and this is the other thing too, right? Because these people moved around, right? And they set this thing up and they took it back down again. That's why, like, the curtains have, archaic Hebrew zippers, right? Like, it's all designed to come apart again and go back up again. So, all right. And you shall make the courtyard of the dwelling place for the south side screens for the courtyard made of fine woven linen, 100 cubits long for one side. So about 150 foot or 50 yards. Okay, so half a football field long. So think about this in your mind. Half a football field long. Okay. And so for the north side in length, screens 100 cubits long. For its 20 columns, with its 20 columns and their 20 sockets of bronze, and the hooks of the columns and their silver bands. So this thing's 50 yards long, and in the length of 50 yards, there's 20 columns that support the screens, kind of like the outside fence, per se, around the tabernacle. And the width of the courtyard on the west side screens of 50 cubits and 10 columns and their 10 sockets. So this thing's 75 feet wide, 150 feet long. Okay, so it's a pretty good size area that we're talking about here, the outside of it. Trying to do brain math first thing in the morning. That would indicate that more coffee is needed. Wouldn't you agree? I agree. Okay, and the width of the courtyard on the east side is 50 cubits, and the screens on one side of the gate 15 cubits, with their 3 columns and their 3 sockets, and on the other side screens of 15 cubits with 3 columns and 3 sockets. And for the gate of the courtyard a covering 20 cubits long of blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine woven linen made by a weaver, 4 columns and 4 sockets, which is something we talked about last week. Fine woven linen made by a weaver. This isn't something like, we're not just going like, just get me any any old Uri or Chaim or Lamech. Like, no, we need the best guys we can find, the best girls we can find to make this thing, right? It's got to be done well. That when you're building this thing, you do it well. And you do it in such a way that it's lasting, right? There's craftsmanship involved. And Yeshua talked about, don't build your house on the sand, man. You got to build it on solid rock, right? That parable, right? It's got to last. And I see a lot of this in the modern Christian church, that there's kind of this bubblegum sugar-coated faith that never really blossoms, and it remains relatively immature. And because of that, as people grow, but their spirituality and their walk with the Most High stays at this introductory level, they get disheartened. They feel cheapened. Their spiritual experience is less than desirable. And they burn out. And they're like, I'm not doing this anymore, man, because there's no growth. And that's why, milk, the parable of meat versus milk, right? Well, you can't feed meat to an infant, and milk won't sustain an adult. Like, there's different ways that you feed different people depending on how mature they are in their spirituality here. And I see a lot of this in the modern Christian church, just from my own eyes, my own experience, and then counseling with other people, that they're just all they feed is the milk. It's just the milk. It's just a little bit, just a little tiny bit of milk. And sooner or later people go, I don't need this, man. I don't need this self-help seminar. I'm good. Like, if this is what it means to be a Christian, I'm good, man. I got this. I can flip open the book, read 3 verses, and call it good. Why do I got to get out of bed and look nice and go deal with people? Like, I'm not doing it. It's stupid. And it is stupid, because that's the foot in the door, man. It's like, let's say you're really into tools and you walk into Home Depot, and you immediately walk into Home Depot and you turn right and you go, oh, dollar screwdrivers, and that's where you stay. You never investigate the rest of this massive building that's filled with all of the things that would be good for you to have and know about, right? That would grow you in your skill set as a practitioner of your art, of your trade, your skill, right? With the thing that you do. The thing that you do. But nobody ever walked you past the front door in the dollar screwdrivers. So when we build this thing, we build it well. Okay. Shabbat. Where did we end? And the utensils of the dwelling place for all of its service, all its pegs, and all of the pegs of the courtyard are bronze. And you are to command the children of Israel. Remember that. Children of Israel. Who's the children of Israel? Actually, Michael Jackson wrote a song about this. It's called Man in the Mirror. I don't think it was about children of Israel, but it's kind of, yeah. I'm starting with Man in the Mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. I won't sing the rest of the song. But I do have an overwhelming urge to just Shemona right now. But I'm not gonna. Just that one time. Okay. And you are to command the children of Israel to bring you clear oil of pressed olives for the light, to cause the lamp to burn continually. This is the festival of Hanukkah, right? Hanukkah, light the menorah. Don't let this thing go out, right? It's got to burn continuously. Boss, we only got a day's worth of oil. Make it work. Okay, he knife-handed me, so it burnt for 8 days. Is pretty much the story of Hanukkah. So, it's not at all the story of Hanukkah. You should read the Apocrypha. The tangents, they're tremendous today. They're tremendous. This is good. I needed this. I've just been, since Florida, man, I've just been praying to get filled up again. And this. I've been putting my nose in this, like this. Since I got back. I'm like, Father, fill me up so I can fill up others. Because I was spiritually and emotionally drained. Physically drained. But I'm good now. I'm good. And I'm happy to be doing this. So it's good to have a smile on this disgusting mug of mine. So, in the tent of appointment outside the veil, which is before the witness, Aaron and his sons are to tend it from evening until morning before Yahweh, a law forever to their generations from the children of Israel. Okay, so Aaron, right? Aaron's a Levite, the Levitical priesthood. This is where we get, right here at the end of 27 is where we get this for all your generations. Okay. So, and I mean, like, the Levites, right? During Sukkot 2018, we made Gordon our Levite. It was like, you're the Levite. Because he was already performing the functions of a Levite. It's like, all right, you're the Levite. But also important to understand here is the Hebrew way of doing things is that it's important. There's an old tradition, and I'm fully acknowledging it's a tradition. It's a tradition of man that a father should teach his son three things, okay? One is the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, how to conduct yourself, the 613 laws and statutes that will make you the antithesis of a scumbag if you keep all of them, okay? How to be found pleasing in the eyes of the Most High. So the first thing that he teaches his son is the Torah, The next thing that he teaches his son is his trade. Okay, so if I'm a carpenter, I'm teaching Harlan how to be a carpenter. I guess I got to teach him how to talk at a sideways iPhone, like, right? Or whatever skills and trades and abilities that I have. The father teaches the son, hey, we're woodworkers, this is how you work wood. We're herdsmen, this is how you take care of sheep. You know, we're agriculturalists, we're, lawyers, whatever. We're doctors, we're healers, this is what we do. So the second thing that the father teaches the son is the trade, right? And it's passed from generation to generation. In fact, the Northmen, you should Google the Northman Guild's Code of Ethics. It's tremendous. And the guy who founded the Northman Guild is a timber framer who can trace his ancestral roots back 1,000 years. 1,000 years of unbroken timber framing. And there's a great picture on their website of a great hall in England. The guy's now in Western or Eastern Europe, somewhere in Eastern Europe, Western Asia. But there's a great hall in Britain that his umpteenth great-grandfather built with his own 2 hands, timber framed out of oak. And there's a picture of this guy standing in it. 1,000 years later, his legacy is still carried on through the work of his progeny with their hands doing the trade that was passed down from one to the next, to the next, to the next. We as Americans tend to lose that because we deal a lot with specialized labor. But it's a very old school way of doing things, and it's very Hebrew that my profession is the profession that I raise you up into, okay? If you're mine, if you're my son or daughter, I need to teach you the ways of doing the things that we do, okay? And then the third thing that a father is to teach his son is how to swim. And I don't know particularly why that is, but how to swim. How to swim is very important, that your son knows how to swim. So you teach them the law, you teach them the business, and you teach them how to swim. So here where we have in 27, verse 21, where Yahweh says, listen, Aaron, you and your people are going to be my priests forever. That is a very Hebraic thing that this is what you do. This is how your people conduct themselves. This is what you do. You're a goat herd. But Dad, I just want to be on Broadway. You can do Broadway after you do your goat herd things. Or I want to be the best clarinet player in the world. Cool. Do your goat herd things first, then go study clarinet. Okay? So, there we go. More anecdotes. Let's go to 28, but before we go to 28, we got to hydrate. Shut up, chicken. All these people who are like, I'm just going to move to nowhere and be a homesteader and have a nice quiet life. You know nothing about animals if you think you're going to homestead and have a quiet life. I'm telling you, these things are horrendous. Okay, moving on. 28. And you bring near Aaron, your brother, and his sons with him from among the children of Israel. And you, meaning Moshe. Shut up. For serving as priest to me, Aaron and Nadab and Abihu and Eleazar and Ithamar, the sons of Aaron. And you shall make set-apart garments for Aaron your brother, for esteem and for comeliness. So you look good and so people know who you are. All right, I'm going to pause this for a minute, go kill these chickens. I'll be right back. Okay, where were we? All right, Aaron is about to get all his gear. All right, so make a set-apart garment for Aaron your brother, for esteem and comeliness. And you, Moshe, speak to all the wise of heart whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom. And they shall make the garments of Aaron, and set him apart for him to serve as priest to me. These are the garments which they make: a breastplate, a shoulder garment, a robe, an embroidered long shirt, a turban, and a girdle. And they shall make set-apart garments for Aaron your brother and his sons, for him to serve priest to me. And they shall take the gold, and the blue, and the purple, and the scarlet material, and the fine linen, and shall make the shoulder garment of gold, of blue, of purple, and scarlet material, and fine woven linen, fine woven linen. Tremendous. The work of a skilled workman. Over and over, we're getting the point here. The work of a skilled workman. It is to have 2 shoulder pieces joined at its edges, and so it is joined together. And the embroidered band of the shoulder garment, which is on it, is the same workmanship, made of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet material, and fine woven linen. And you shall take 2 shoham stones, which, according to the Sasquatch, is onyx. 2 onyx stones, and engrave on them the names of the sons of Israel. 6 of their names on one stone, and the remaining 6 names on the other stone, according to their birth. With the work of an engraver in stone, like the engravings of a signet, engrave the 2 stones with the names of the sons of Israel. Set them in settings of gold. And you shall put the 2 stones on the shoulder pieces of the shoulder garments as stones of remembrance for the sons of Israel. Sorry, we got these onyx stones, and they're going up here. Okay. And they're engraved with the 12 names of Israel. You getting a mental picture here? Okay. And I don't have any like handouts to give the class. I'm sorry. But you can Google this stuff. And in fact, I think in the back of this book, there's some, like, right there is like the camp at Israel, which is cool. I think that's how it was laid out. Okay. And then, yeah, see, here we go. Garments of the high priest. Oh, I hate you, chicken. Why won't you die? Okay, so I didn't actually kill the chickens. I just tried to shoo them away from the bunker. But literally, they hear my voice and they come running. Anybody who's been here while I've read this word can attest to that. It's tremendously annoying, and the only reason that I still have 2 roosters is because my wife loves them, and I love my wife. In fact, as a reminder that I should go out of my way to remember my wife more, I actually wrote Ezer Kenegado on my arm this morning, which is the Hebrew for helpmeet, which means, like in Genesis, when it says, it is not good that man should be alone, I will make him a helpmeet. That word helpmeet, when it's translated properly, because helpmeet just sounds like a helper, it should be translated as rescuer, like lifesaver, the person you can't live without. It's only used, that word in Hebrew, Ezer Kenegado, is only used in the Hebrew elsewhere to describe the redeeming that Messiah does. Saving. I will make you somebody that will help save you. My wife definitely has helped save me. So, yeah. That's why we still have 2 roosters. Because she likes him. And I love her. But boy, is it. I mean, I'm within arm's reach of so many weapons right now. So we'll just have to tolerate, right? Okay. And on their names, to do the stones, you put them on your shoulder pads so you can dance like it's 1989. And you shall put 2 stones on the shoulder pieces. We did that for remembrance. And you shall make settings of gold and 2 chains of clean gold like braided cords, and fasten the braided chains to the settings. And you shall make a breastplate of right ruling, a work of skilled workmen, like the work of the shoulder garment. Make it of gold and blue and purple and scarlet material and fine woven linen. It is square, doubled, a span its length, a span its width, and you shall put settings of stone in it, 4 rows of stones. The first row is a ruby, a topaz, and an emerald. The second row is a turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond. The third row is a jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst. The fourth row is a beryl and a shoham, which is onyx, and a jasper, and they are set in gold settings. And the stones are according to the names of the sons of Israel, 12 according to their names, like the engraving of a signet, each one with its own name for the 12 tribes. And you shall make braided chains of corded work for the breastplate at the end of clean gold. And you shall make 2 rings of gold on the breastplate, and shall put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. And you shall put the 2 cords of gold in the 2 rings which are on the end of the breastplate, and the other end of the 2 cords you fasten to the 2 settings. Okay. Square. 4 rows of stone. Shoulder thing with the onyx. Braided cord going from there out of gold to the breastplate and back up again. Okay? 1 on each side. Ish. Again, feel free to look this stuff up, because it helps to see this. And you shall make 2 rings of gold and put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate. Blah, 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 blah. Put them on the 2 shoulder pieces underneath the shoulder garment on the front of it. Close it to the seam above the border band of the shoulder band. Bind the breastplate by the means of its rings to the rings of the shoulder garment, using a blue cord so that it is above the embroidered band of the shoulder garment, and so that the breastplate does not come loose from the shoulder garment. And Aaron shall bear the names of the sons of Israel on the breastplate of right ruling over his heart when he goes into the set-apart place for remembrance before Yahweh continually. And into the breastplate of right ruling you shall put the Urim and the Thummim. We're going to talk about this. The Urim and the Thummim, or Tumim, shall put them on the heart of Aaron when he goes before Yahweh. And Aaron shall bear the right ruling of the children of Israel on his heart before Yahweh continually. The right ruling, the judgment of. Okay. What is the Urim and the Tumim? Short answer, nobody has a freaking clue. There's lots of opinion. There's lots of informed conjecture, some of it way more valid than others. But basically, the prevailing thought is that they were 2 stones, the Urim and the Tumim. Yeah, the Urim and the Tumim, okay, 2 stones, and that they were set in settings, and that they were used for divination. I believe it's Joshua also refers to these, as does Joseph Smith in Mormonism, LDS, the Latter-day Saints. And allegedly, the Urim and the Tumim Joseph Smith had that were set into a silver framework. These are the spectacles that he used to translate the gold plates given to him by the angel Moroni. So now here we have Aaron with these stones, and they're allegedly used for divination, for right ruling from Yahweh to Aaron in a matter. And there's the Midrash, the rabbinical teachings are like, here's the deal. You could walk up to Aaron and ask him a question, and these 2 stones would speak, would indicate truth or a lie, or yes or no, go, no go kind of thing. Don't know. I don't know. And there's so many rabbit holes you can go down here. So if this intrigues you, which I find it, at least mildly interesting, that you can Google and Wikipedia and research the crap out of this and come away with some pretty interesting conclusions. But who knows? Like nobody knows because we don't have them, and there's not a whole lot of discourse on the matter here in the book as to what these are. But they're used for judgment and right ruling for Aaron. Is that divination? I don't know. I mean, if the Father speaks to you, are you divining? Right? Test spirits. Try everything. Like, test everything against the word, right? What's that? Is that in Timothy? I don't remember. I'm truthfully very distracted by these roosters and really want to slaughter them. Like for real. Shotgun blast is all I'm seeing in my mind. So, try and get back on track here. I don't know what these things are, and very few people do. But there's a lot of opinion and conjecture on it, and that's okay. Go have fun with it. Go read. Figure it out. But as far as the word, that's it. That's what it says right there. They are to be fastened onto this breastplate and used by Aaron for the right ruling according to Yahweh. The how, what, why of that, I don't know. I'm going to kill that thing. I really am. Stand by. Nice peaceful homestead. Super peaceful, bro. Alright, what were we talking about? The Umum and the Thurum and the Tumum and the Humum and the Chumum and the Chemanamanamanamana. And you shall make the robe of the shoulder garment all blue, and the opening of his head shall be in the middle of it. The opening for his head shall be in the middle of it. Makes sense. And a woven binding all around its opening, like the opening in scaled armor, so it does not tear. Words. And on its hem you shall make pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet materials all around its hem, the bells of gold between them all. And a golden bell, and a pomegranate, and a golden bell, and a pomegranate, alternating all the way around the hem. On the hem of the robe all the way around. And it shall be upon Aaron to attend in, and the sound shall be heard when he goes into the set-apart place before Yahweh, and when he comes out, so that he does not die. And you shall make a plate of clean gold and engrave on it, like the engraving of a signet, set apartness to Yahweh. And you shall put it on a blue cord, and it shall be on the turban, so it is on the front of the turban. And it shall be on the head of Aaron, and Aaron shall bear the guilt of the set-apart gifts which the children of Israel set apart, in all their set-apart gifts. And it shall always be on his forehead for acceptance for them before Yahweh. And you shall weave the long shirt of fine linen, and make a turban of fine linen, and make a girdle of woven work, and make long shirts for Aaron's sons, and you shall make girdles for them. And you shall make turbans for them for esteem and for comeliness. And you shall put them on Aaron, your brother, and his sons, and shall anoint them, and shall ordain them, and shall set them apart. And they shall serve me as priests. And make linen trousers for them to cover their nakedness, reaching from the waist to the thighs. And they shall be on Aaron and on his sons when they come into the tent of appointment, or when they come near the slaughter place to attend in the set apart place, so that they do not bear crookedness and die, a law forever to him and to his seed after him. Okay, that's the end of 2:8, Exodus 2:8. What did we learn today? Well, number one, again, if we ever need to build a temple again, which we may, I think somebody's going to. I don't know if it'll be us or not, but okay. Somebody's gonna. We know what to do, right? We have the instruction here. What else did we learn? The work should be fine workmanship of a skilled workman. Okay. I will not give to Yahweh that which costs me nothing. Okay. We should examine that more in our own lives. Like, to sacrifice literally means to sacrifice. It's one thing to just, here you go. It's another thing to actually give up something that hurts you to lose it. Which is why I think that you should tithe from your gross, not your net. But that's my opinion of it. If you tithe, and it doesn't necessarily have to be money, because if we look at the Old Testament tithings, what did they bring? Food. Which is fine. If y'all want to bring some food here, I'm cool. Like, I'm totally down with that. I'm actually kind of hungry right now. But probably going to have some chicken for dinner. But anyway. I will not give to Yahweh that which costs me nothing. Right? It should hurt us a little bit, I think. So, we know that we're supposed to build this thing well. Do it well. The Urim and the Tumim. You can bust out the Google machine, man. There's some rabbit trails there. There's all kinds of paths that you can walk on that. And I'm not going to, because I get this question a lot. What is my opinion on Mormonism? I will answer that with this. This is my Bible. I own a Book of Mormon. I've read it. We'll just leave it at that. My Lord is named Yahweh. Exodus 15:3. Yahweh is a warrior. Yahweh is his name. What shall we call you? I am that I am. The great I am. Which is a phenomenal worship song, by the way. I think one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful church services I've ever been to was inside of a Mormon, what do they call them? Temple? Inside of a Mormon temple. It was wonderful. It was wonderful for the honesty because they were doing what I guess is called testimonies. And these, just one example. One woman got up there and was like, just when I thought life couldn't get any more difficult, we found out we're pregnant again. And we have no money and the car's breaking down and we can't pay our bills and we're pregnant again. And I know that this is supposed to be a blessing, but I'm just resenting this whole thing. Deeply honest and personal. And as she was getting down from the pulpit, another woman was walking up and they hugged each other in the aisle and just cried together for a solid minute. And the one woman cried on the other woman's shoulder just for a solid minute. And, they kind of patted each other on the back and went their separate ways. And the second woman gets up to the pulpit. And she says, she said, I love you, sister, but I got to tell you just how mad I am at you. The woman she just hugged and cried with in the aisle. She said, we've been trying to get pregnant for years. And I'm still struggling with it right now. I wish that I had your problems. And I really resent you for feeling the way that you do towards this blessing that you're experiencing when we can't get pregnant. And I was with another guy and we're sitting next to each other on the pew like, bro, did you hear that? Like, just the depth of honesty that was expressed in that room was amazing. That being said, theologically, I have many an issue with Mormonism. I'm not a Mormon. But they have an interesting take. They have an interesting take on the Urim and the Tumim and the everything else. So I believe that this book that I have here is divinely inspired scripture. I believe that the Book of Mormon is a nice book, if that answers it. And truthfully, I don't begrudge you whatever your beliefs are. Whatever your belief system is, that's cool, man. But that's where I am. That's my conviction. And when I was searching for truth after coming out of churchianity, I ended up with a Book of Mormon in my hand. And this is not where I intended this conversation to go, but here we are. I ended up with a Book of Mormon in my hand, and I read it. And there was too much in there that just didn't resonate with me. Seemed too contrived. And as I compared it against Scripture, the fact that you have to have like structured teachings, that kind of didn't do it for me. And when I would go to the Mormon church and raise my hand and say, well, wait a minute, what about this? No, that doesn't count because of this. And I'm like, doesn't count. What are you talking about, dude? It's like, it's right here in the Bible. So, you guys know me. I'm that single blank page in between the Old Testament and the New Testament. But if you want to jump down a rabbit hole, go Google the Urim and the Thummim. Okay. Now, what else did we learn today? Chickens are bad. At least boy chickens, they're bad, and nobody should own them ever. And yeah, I think that's all I got for today, guys. I'm constantly humbled and amazed by this, by the fact that there's real people on the other end of this, and like, I had one person was like, hey, the boss is tall. Amen, the boss is tall. Yeah, you should make that a shirt. I was like, okay, I'll think about it. And then just at the utterance of, okay, I'll think about it, a dozen other people were like, yeah, you should make that, dude, do that. It's like, okay, I'll make it a shirt, and I'll make it benefit the mission in Florida. And so I made that go live yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. It's like over 30 of them sold already. Dude, that's incredible. Like, the boss is tall. That's awesome. And I'm just blown away by y'all on the other side of this who are prayerfully considerate of us, who lift us up, who educate us, who encourage us, who edify us, who love on us, who, when we decide we're going to do something crazy like go to Florida and bless people, that dozens of you show up in support of that, that the fact that there are real people on both sides of this iPhone is what blows me away. And I'm really fortunate that my life looks the way that it does. And sometimes we have to take time out of our life to count our blessings, lest we take them for granted. So I'll leave you with that. Count your blessings. We're alive. We're all relatively healthy. There's not a one of us that's on our deathbed. We don't live underneath blue tarps. We have food, we have water, we have shelter. Every one of us has somebody that loves us, somebody that we love back. We're fearfully and wonderfully created by the most powerful being in the universe, and he smiles upon us when we do his will. We're blessed. I'm blessed. And y'all are part of it. So thank you. Now, if anybody wants to get out here with a shotgun and kill these roosters, email me and we'll set up a hunting party. Shalom.